Rev up your engines! All right, it's now official. The world's gone insane. You're not going to believe this story. I'm here in Rhode Island. I got invited to go to a Ford dealership to check out the new Broncos, right? I think, fantastic. I'll go there, drive them, start it up. I tell the guy, I can be there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's the response, and I quote, "I would love to have you drive the Bronco and review, but Ford and their insurance policy denies even dealership folks to get behind the wheel or even to turn on the engine." Yes, the world has now officially gone totally mad. Here's my response. No, that's not the least bit interesting. It's just boring Ford doing the same thing with me in Houston, where they wouldn't even turn on the electric Ford Mustang. It didn't even have a battery in it. Ford really is a poorly managed company, I'll say that. I have to have something to film, not just looking at something, though I bet old Henry Ford would be rolling in his grave when he misses out on such free PR. You might tell the company bureaucrats that one. If you know anything about Henry Ford, he introduced a V8 engine, his new mass-produced one, during the Depression. He sent them all over the country so people out in the countryside could test out the new Ford V8. He gave them test rides and all this. Now, his company Ford won't even let a guy like me go start it up and drive it around. We've gotten to a point of absurdity in our society. What is Ford selling in the Bronco? I thought it was a cool little truck, SUV, right? No, I guess it's just a work of art now. You don't start it, it just sits there and you look at it. I just can't believe that. Now, realize, as I'm warning people, they're all made in Mexico. Maybe they're worried that they won't start, and that's why they won't let you start them up. I just can't believe it. That is how insane our society has gotten. You know, I mean, Ford in his day drove all over the country with people showing off his V8 Ford during the Depression. Mind you, he brought that V8 engine out in the Depression and he still sold them. You know, amazing marketing and manufacturing. Now, you can't even start the things or set them. You can just look at them. I really can't believe this. Now, perhaps Ford will come by and bring me one to drive around. Who knows? But if this is their plan, hey, hire a different marketing company, Ford, because you guys are doing it all wrong. Well, if you don't believe about the quality of Porsches, check out this one. Porsche issues a stop sale on 2021 Cayman and a 718 Spider. It turns out that the connecting rods inside the engine may crack and the engine blows up. Some of them, they're going to have to replace the entire engine in. Yeah, quality at Porsche, right? Now, they've already delivered 20 of these vehicles, and they say that they're going to replace the engines in all 20 of those. Now, I mean, really, let's face the facts. They're supposed to be high-performance, well-built cars. They can't even make connecting rods inside the engine. They've had connecting rods in engines for 100-something years, right? You think they'd be able to build that correctly, but I guess not. I guess they don't build them in Deutschland like they used to. Now, they say that they're going to replace the engine in the 20 they've already sold, but, and I quote, "The ones not delivered will be evaluated to determine whether an engine replacement is necessary." Whatever the heck that means. What are they going to do? Analyze them with an X-ray machine? Are they going to take the engines apart and check the connecting rods? I mean, that's inside the engine. You have to take the engine apart to do that, right? It just shows, you know, they charge all the money for these fancy cars and they don't build them worth crap. One guy even ordered one. I said, well, the delivery of your car is going to be 3 to 6 months late. I guess Porsche doesn't realize it's a competitive world out there, you know? And if they can't build these things right, somebody's going to buy something else. I just can't believe the low quality that some of these manufacturers are coming out with these days. It's just totally unbelievable. Oh, there's some bandits out there. Turns out there's been a cyber attack that forces vehicle emission stations to halt operation in 8 states. Somebody's attacked their computers so they can't do emissions testing. You know, when you go in, you get your car inspected, well, they got a computer there, and then that goes through a system, and it's got to call the state, and that's got to okay what's going on, and after it tests it gives the information. Well, some cyber attacker attacked it and shut one of these systems down. A-Plus Technology, it's a Wisconsin-based company. They had to shut it down because they've been hacked in. As a matter of fact, I met those guys years ago when they were starting up. Rather ironic. I was there in Wisconsin. They flew me there. I made a video for them. Small world, right? The cyber attack left thousands of people where they can't get their cars inspected, and A-Plus says they have no idea when they can put it back up. Now, even though they're in Wisconsin, this has affected stations in Connecticut, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Massachusetts, New York, Texas, and Utah, because they use this A-plus company. So not only is it bad enough that you got to waste your time, go get your car inspected, you might make an appointment, get there and find out that it doesn't work because somebody hacked into the computer. Obviously, it's somebody that's, against these inspections. And if you watch my video that I have on why inspection is basically a fraud process, it's just a moneymaker for the states and for the companies. A Canadian study was done years ago, and over $1 billion of unnecessary repairs were done because people took it to these stations. They got sold stuff they don't actually need. So, I mean, really, this stuff is kind of absurd. The cars themselves have the systems already built in, and all the modern inspection does is they plug it into your OBD port and it reads what's going on there. I think it's kind of funny myself that they've done this. It wasn't me. I'm not smart enough to do it with computers. I use computers all the time, but I'm just a user. I don't write the software. I get to you via computers and satellites and fiber optic cable, but I really have no idea how to manipulate that stuff. Now, nobody's mentioning a ransomware attack where they want money and stuff, so probably that's what's happening. They want to pay up. Who knows? But I'm against all this inspection stuff anyways. I mean, it's just, another tax. It's just another tax on us as consumers so that these companies can make money, and then dishonest people can rip you off. I had a guy here in Massachusetts the other day. He brought me his truck, nice truck, ran fine. He said, yeah, I had to get it inspected last month. I took it to a guy and he wanted $1,500 of suspension work. And I said, hey, forget it. So he goes to another station and the guy passes it. So the original guy, he was just a crook trying to sell him stuff. And you see that all the time with these inspection things. So, hey, I think it's funny. What do they say? The rich get richer? Well, Rolls-Royce just had its best 3-month sales ever in the history of the company, 116 years. That said, January, February, and March, they averaged just a little over 400 vehicles sold per month. So we're not talking about astonishing world records here. Now, of course, you realize Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW. For ages, they had the BMW V12 engine, and it was a German engine. It wasn't even an English engine, which is probably a good thing. The Germans make better engines than the English do anyway. So people are still being suckered in by that Rolls-Royce name and spending a bunch of money more than ever. Well, the world's getting richer for the rich people, and the poor are getting poorer, and the middle class are being squeezed from both ends, but Rolls-Royce is selling more cars than they ever did in 116-year history. They're fitting with the times. I quote Rolls-Royce. We are very much a self-driving brand nowadays. We might have formerly been chauffeur-driven, but that's completely changed. The majority of our cars are sold to people who drive them themselves. So even the rich now are driving themselves. That's a good thing. They're becoming more like the common man and actually driving their own cars. Maybe society's making a turn for the better here. Camel Likens says, Scotty, please make a video explain the problems that diesel fuel has versus gasoline. This is kind of nutty sounding, but believe it or not, there's fungus and bacteria that can live on diesel, that can eat the stuff. They can't eat gasoline, it's too caustic. So if you have something you don't use much, like a lot of guys have sailboats, boats on the ocean with big diesel engines, they hardly ever use them, you can get fungus and bacteria that grow and they clog up the fuel filter. You have to change the fuel filters all the time, and if you don't use them much, you got to buy a fungicide and put that fungicide in your diesel fuel. It's just what you have to do. It's completely different. You don't have to worry about anything growing in your gas tank with gasoline, but diesel, it's a different animal. Stuff can grow in it. You got to change the filter a lot and put fungicide in your tank if you don't use it much. If you drive it all the time like a big 18-wheeler trucker, you don't care. You keep putting fresh stuff in. But if you let it sit a lot, no, you got to take care of it. Mondo Lindo says, Scotty, what time and city you'll be in Rhode Island? I want to take a picture with you. Well, I'm here right now. I'm in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. I'm going to be here for 2 months, making videos, talking to people's cars, helping people out, answering questions. Nothing's changed except my location, and I'm now in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. This place is unbelievable. It's beautiful. Interesting thing was, a guy told me years ago there used to be a giant carnival down the street, and this island used to be full of all the circus people, but they're long gone. Some of their little shacks, there's one that's falling apart. Obviously somebody's going to sell it at some point in time. It's one of the original circus shacks. Gosh, said, if my belt breaks in my interference engine and I drive slow, will it cause major damage? It depends on what you mean by driving slow. Let's say you're only going 4 miles an hour, maybe the pistons won't hit the valves. But anything over that, generally, momentum of the car going the wheels are still connected to the engine, it'll spin the pistons and they'll slam into the valves. That's why you got an interference engine, you want to keep a nice belt. Change it every 90,000 miles regardless, because you don't want a $30 belt break and ruin your engine for thousands and thousands of dollars in damage. Thank goodness most vehicles these days have returned to timing chains, metal timing chains inside, and they can generally last as long as a car. And the day of the rubber belts and interference engines hopefully is fading away from most car manufacturers. Although some of them are now making timing belts that are soaked in oil. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Go back to chains, people, like most of them. They're better made. Sure, they cost more to build, but you're paying enough for the car anyway. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.